hanging out in some development warehouse areas of Brooklyn, New York. I'm all bundled up because it's freezing out, it's windy, and this is the perfect bike for this kind of environment right here. What we're looking at is the Moustache Lundi 26, and this thing, it feels bulletproof. Like, the first thought I had when I saw it was like, oh, it's school bus yellow, safety, tough. You know, you look at this down tube right here. It's not circular, it's square. And I'm told that in the middle there's even another tube, and there's kind of like this X like reinforcement going on. And you can see that at the cutaway here for this front fender. See how it's like layered, so it's not just one blade. It's aluminum, got these really solid support struts right there. Awesome tires. Big fan of these. These are the Schwalbe Fat Franks 26 by 2.35, so they're a little bit fatter, and they do offer some good comfort, something I've appreciated given that this is there's no suspension here on the frame. Thankfully they have added a bit of a seat post suspension. It's a little bit stiff, and especially in the cold, like it doesn't rebound super fast, so it's an area that's like meh. I believe it's 31.6 millimeters on the actual seat tube, but they've got a shim in here. This is something I call out occasionally in the write-ups I do. So that makes it a little bit narrower so that they could fit this 27.2 millimeter post. Just, worth noting if you're gonna replace this with like a Thud Buster or something like that. Nice cellular rail, gel saddle. Coming back here, we got another fender. Integrated lights, right? It's a Pixio by Spaninga. And up front we've got another Spaninga light. This one's the Trendo. They say 10 lux on the website, but you'll notice that it doesn't turn. Like when you turn the bike, it's kind of permanent. It doesn't angle or anything. I think that's more of a be seen sort of a headlight than like a mountain bike, see the trail sort of a headlight. And that's fine. You ride around the city, street lights and stuff. It's usually not a huge deal. And I love that they've got this reflective sidewall stripe on the tire. Again, these have Kevlar lining. Schwalbe just, they do a great job with their tires. You can see stainless eyelets. So everything on this is overbuilt a little bit. That's gonna design is meant to reduce the potential for like cracking on rims. And I was talking to some of the guys at the shop today, and they were like, yeah, spokes can fail there, and they can fail there. So just reinforcing. This is 14 gauge stainless steel front and rear on the spokes. They are black, so they kind of blend in. And I was looking at this earlier. I don't know if looks like it might be aluminum, maybe aluminum coated plastic, but it's just a really nice chain cover, something I've been appreciating today. You can see I got my pants with a little bit of a rip down there. That's from riding bikes, and they hit the chain, they get greasy. So it's nice to have that. You're gonna stay dry, clean, you're gonna be relatively safe with the lights and stuff like that. Have something that's sturdy, not a whole lot of rattling going on. I also love that they've got this integrated rack back here, and that it's really beefy. Look at, there's like 2 bolt-on, maybe even 3 bolt mounting points on the inside of the seat stays, and then it attaches to the fender as well in 2 places. So just look at that, just really, really well done. I appreciate that. Even the hanger down here, you can see it's like a 3-bolt independent hanger. So if this gets bumped or something and broken, you're not threading into the frame, you're not wrecking and bending the frame. You got replaceable parts here. Shimano Di2 derailleur on this one, and that's another place where the bike can be kind of upgraded a little bit. This is a 10-speed kind of standard derailleur setup, but for a little bit more, this is a $3,000 bike, which to me is a pretty good deal for what you're getting here. For a little bit more, like $3,600, you get the NuVinci N360 continuously variable transmission, so you can shift on the fly, at standstill, whatever you want, and it's just a little bit more compact, and you don't have a derailleur on the side. It's all like kind of in the middle there. That's a pretty sweet upgrade for $600. And then they have like the Shimano Di2 8-speed internally geared hub, also shift at standstill, but electronic shifting, real precise and stuff. That's $4,000. So there's kind of a cool upgrade path. I want to hit some of the other, touch points here. Rubber ergonomic grips, locking. I didn't see the brand, but that's nice. They work pretty well. Shimano hydraulic disc brakes. I believe that's M355. 180 millimeter in the front, 160 in the rear. So a little bit smaller, but this is plenty for like a city bike, in my opinion. At first I was like, is this a through axle or something? But I think it's just a 9mm standard skewer. And you'll notice that there isn't quick release on the front, but there is on the rear. And I was told that they can actually set it up either way. But if you live in the city, you know, leaving your bike with quick release wheels, not the best idea. They might get jacked. Same with the seat here. This is just using a standard kind of a hex wrench setup. So a lot of versatility. And this right here, you might not be familiar with this AXA Solid Plus. This is called a cafe lock. So if you're just running into the cafe and you don't want someone to take the bike, but you also don't want to have a big chain and all that, you've probably got an eye on it through the window, you just don't want someone to grab and go, well, you can activate that lock. And what's really cool about it is it uses the same key as the battery. So you kind of twist it, and then you push down on this lever, and a rod goes right through the spokes, so it's effectively immobilized. Battery pack's removable. I was weighing this earlier, 5.7 pounds. This is the standard Bosch Power Pack 400, 36 volt, 11 amp hours. Awesome. You know, it's great, and you know, it does take up probably some of the 25 kilogram max weight capacity of this rack, but you know, it gets it out of the way if you're down to it. Frees this up so you can just easily step on. Sometimes, you know, you're throwing your leg over the back and you clock your shin on the rack, and it's designed to make it approachable. This does only come in one size. I've done a bunch of measurements and stuff back at the site, standover height, length, reach, all that stuff. One thing I really like is it's got this kind of funky handlebar going on here. This is really custom. It raises it way up and it brings it kind of down and back, so your body position's a little bit more upright, keep your eyes on traffic and stuff, and just a little bit more reachable. You're not going to have the stress and strain on your back and shoulders, you know, and that comes into play if you're wearing a backpack especially. But again, in this case, you got a rack. And these little nubs here, I was asking about this, and I guess this is a proprietary like interface for Ortlieb panniers and stuff, and there's actually one that's designed to go here, but they took it off so you could hang just standard panniers if you want. You got a nice pannier blocker and kind of like a clip interface down here. Just solid. Lots of great options on this. I've enjoyed it. Just short distance that we traveled getting here. The motor itself is a Bosch Performance Line, 350 watt nominal rating for the US, about 60 Newton meters torque on that, and it's pretty effective. It's efficient, it's relatively quiet, but 17 tooth sprocket up here spins a little bit faster, about 2.5 times as fast as you pedal, and it's designed to enable that motor to operate at a higher RPM more efficiently. This thing is great. It measures your wheel speed in the back, your pedal cadence, and your pedal torque like 1,000 times per second. And it's the same motor I've used on some mountain bikes, and I've had no problem climbing, you know, mountain trails like dirt trails and rocks, and where you need it to be like super fast. It does have shift sensing technology. It's not perfect. You're still going to wear the chain and sprockets a little faster than if it was a hub motor, but the weight's low, it's centered. This thing, you know, just talking to some of the shops, they don't have to service it as frequently. It's something that's really reliable. And I like the display interface up here, in part because it's removable. You can just press that little tab and take it. You know, we're talking about the city. If you want to reduce the weight of this bike, it's 55 pounds with everything attached, but you could take off 5 pounds back here, take this off, lock it up, the wheels are locked. Like it's just a little bit tougher, and it's going to hold up in those environments. Might be a good rental. So anyway, coming back to this display, normally you press the power button and it comes to life, but this display, I think it was left off the bike for a while, and it has its own little battery inside that you can replace. It's rechargeable. So what you need to do, and this is new to me, come back here to the battery, press the little power button on that. You can see it kind of light up. It's got a little indicator. Now the display comes on. So now you can see it's lighting up. It's gone through its little intro. You got a battery indicator with 5 ticks, speed, big, you know, right there in the center where you want it. This thing is backlit, which is kind of cool. And then down here, just some other readouts. And you could cycle through those using the eye here or up here. So it's the kind of bike you don't have to take your hands off the bar, compromise your grip when you're riding. So we go from odometer, trip distance, clock, max speed, average speed, trip time, and range. Range is really cool because as you cycle through the different levels of assist, of which there are 4, you get sort of a real-time dynamic readout on how far it thinks you can go, and that's in part based on like the last 5 miles of riding and stuff. So it's very smart. I'm going to arrow up to eco, and it says, hey, 36 miles. Go all the way up to turbo, and it says 12 miles. Note that our battery isn't full, you know, and been riding around up hills in the wind and stuff. But you know, my estimate is that you could get 30 plus miles on this, upwards of 60. So it's a pretty cool setup that way. It's again one of my favorites, and just kind of neat the way that it's placed here and everything. So I'm here with Chris Nolte from Propel Bikes in Brooklyn. How's it going, man?
Doing well. How about you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thank you. You know, this is the first time I've seen Moustache in the U.S. I came out to your shop to check it out, and I just appreciate the walkthrough. Some of the stuff I was calling out, like the frame structure and stuff, that's stuff you were telling me, and I was wondering if you could point out anything else that's kind of special that drew you guys to carry this brand.
Sure. So Moustache, we've been checking them out for the past several years at Eurobike, and we've kind of connected with them, and it's been an interesting brand. They have a big focus on design. Some of their bikes are actually designed by Philip Stark, who's a world famous designer. Even designed Steve Jobs' yacht, actually.
Whoa, cool.
So it's pretty cool. And this bike, the Lundi, was one of their flagship bikes, and it's very unique. A lot of proprietary parts, but at the same time, it's very serviceable. All the parts that are serviceable are very easy to work with, but they do have kind of this unique fork that's well integrated into the frame, and and the light that's integrated and everything else.
Even the wires. Look at this, internally routed handlebar wires with like little, that's I've never seen that before.
It's quite cool. I mean, and this bike, we're actually considering doing some sort of like rental program or that sort of thing with this bike specifically. I think that it lends itself well to that. They have a lot of security features built in, and it's really the type of bike that you could just ride and just do anything with, and it's going to hold up well. Yeah,
I like the branding is kind of cool too. Like, and at $3,000, I mean, I remember a time when you couldn't get a Bosch powered bike for under $4,000.
Right, absolutely. So, yeah, it's definitely nice to see some quality bikes coming into the space that are at this lower price point.
Yeah.
And Moustache, they've been working with Bosch from the start. They started the brand just doing electric bikes, just doing Bosch powered electric bikes, and you could tell that they have a lot of confidence in the Bosch brand, and they have a great relationship. And that's one of the ways that we've been able to kind of introduce this pilot program in the U.S., bringing their bikes over, and it's been really great.
Where are they from? Where's Moustache from?
So Moustache is a French brand, actually.
Okay.
So they're based in France.
That's true. I was at their site earlier, like studying up for this, and I was like translate from French to English. So cool. I want to, before we, we're gonna do a ride test, but it's got a nice adjustable end kickstand that's way in the back, so it's not gonna collide with your pedal cranks as you're spinning. Sometimes you like pick your bike up and you walk it backwards, and those cranks sort of cycle backwards. Also wanted to show you the charger while we're here. This is the Bosch charger. You can take the plug out, which is really nice, relatively compact, 1.7 pounds, 4 amp. Okay, so it's like a little bit faster. It means you could charge this thing like 3.5 hours instead of 5. I didn't want to cut you off too much. Is you think we're pretty good? You want to take a ride, or any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's about time to take a ride.
Let's do it, man. I'm freezing. We hold this for a second?
Sure.
Okay, so the keys do not have to be left in. I was just going to put them there so I don't forget them back at the shop. I'm up in turbo right now, and I'm just going to take off. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see that chainring spinning. I've done other Bosch powered bikes where you can, where it's like external, it's not got that cover, and it spins so quickly once you start pedaling, and it stops really quickly too, so I never feel out of control, which is something nice. And this is one of the zippier, just more fulfilling electric bikes. It is class 1, pedal assist only. There's no throttles or anything, but you really don't need it. Like, it's just so responsive. All right. See, I'm really relaxed like this. Very nice. No fender noise. Going over some bumps, and it's feeling really solid. Disc brakes are doing a good job. I have to brake one-handed sometimes. We can. Maybe after this car? Whoa. Can I trade off with you?
Sure.
Yeah, this is another one of the Moustache bikes. This one's clearly like kind of a mountain style. it's just fun to see third-person view. So Chris is gonna hop on and just, you know, pedal away, man. Yeah, I got my pants getting a little bit got a bit of a hang up here on the suspension on this one. So it, you know, again, that kind of illustrates the point to me that having everything covered and being set up for pants weather and, you know, potential rain and stuff is really nice. Nice that they take those extra steps. Sweet, man. Well, I've enjoyed chatting with you, getting to ride these bikes and seeing the imports. It's tough to find this kind of stuff sometimes, but I can really appreciate the extra energy and time that they spent doing this. You know, some of the different European brands, whether it's Bulls or High Bike or in this case Moustache, it's just fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thanks, Chris. For the full write-up on this one, I'll see you back at the site. Maybe you've got this bike and you've been riding it in Europe or something like that. Feel free to chime in French. We'll translate it and, you know, have fun. Be safe.